Hello and welcome to my talk. My name is Tom and I'm the CEO of MCM. MCM is a digital marketing agency specialising in the events industry. So today I'm going to give you a whistle-stop tour around TikTok, and as you can see here, I'm going to speak around how you can take yourself from the FYP to RSVP. So in this context, by FYP, we're talking about the For You page, which is the main kind of newsfeed, if you like, of TikTok. So how can we look at utilizing and identifying TikTok trends to drive event attendance? So hopefully from this, you're going to be able to take away a couple of really actionable insights that you can then build into your kind of day-to-day, into your marketing plans to get some really nice organic content and potentially some paid content running on the TikTok platform that is then going to have an impact on your events and ultimately event attendance. So first of all, let's start off with the important numbers. So there are currently 23 million monthly TikTok users in the UK. So something we've had for quite a while when we suggest running TikTok as part of a B2B campaign is clients that would push back and say, we don't think this is going to be relevant, or our audience aren't going to be on the platform, or it's skewing too young. From this number alone, we can see that there is enough people that are using the platform monthly that your audience, regardless of the industry, regardless of the objective, are going to be on the platform in some capacity. So yes, it might not be the number one platform to focus on. There might be more opportunity or more volume on something like LinkedIn, but there are going to be some of your audience that are there on the platform. So it is worthwhile having a look at and working out what you can start doing there to drive attendance and get some exposure and awareness. So I mentioned the demographic. If we have a look at the split by this in a little bit more detail, you can see primarily you've got a younger audience there. But what's really interesting, especially as we're talking about events and potentially more of a B2B skew, but also in the B2C space, and if we're thinking about different seniorities, for example, that we want to attend different events, you can see that there is a good chunk in the 20 to 29, but also 30 to 39, 40 to 49, and 50 plus. Those 10% and 15% and 20% numbers of this 23 million monthly users, that is a significant portion of people of those ages that are using the platform. So how can we start thinking about how we're going to get the right content in front of them at the right time, and how can it be relevant to your marketing or business objectives? So if we're starting to look at how people are using the platform, unlike other social platforms that have always been around consuming content, TikTok is now starting to move into more of a search platform. So a lot more users are now starting to use TikTok to find answers, to find how-tos, in exactly the same way that people started utilizing YouTube for. And of course, Google have been doing that from day one, but Google's always been a search engine and never a social media platform. However, TikTok is starting to evolve into a platform that can be used for search. So bearing that in mind, here are some examples of what the search aspect looks like on TikTok at the moment. So as you can see, I've typed in a couple of different examples here around best networking event for best marketing events marketing, how to get, for example. And on the first three, you can see that it's starting to suggest different search results that might be relevant to what I'm looking for. And by the fourth one, you can see it's starting to now learn from my initial searches and suggesting relevant content. So why is this important? What we can do is we can start looking at what people are searching for, make that relevant to our event, and then start creating content for those search results. So that's going to be invaluable because you've got really good insight of, what these people are looking for, what they want to find. And then if you can start creating content for that, then you're going to be able to cut through and get in front of the right people. And this is a great organic approach as well. If you're not using a paid budget, it's going to be a really nice way to get that content in front of the right people. So ultimately, if you're creating content that is accurately tailored to what your audience wants to see, TikTok as a platform will ensure it gets in front of the right people. And this can be a really powerful tool, as mentioned, to kind of utilize those organic approaches without having to use paid to create the right content. And what's really exciting at the moment is the competition is quite small. So that goes across the board, across all industries. But even more excitingly, I really feel that the competition is small in the events industry, where other aspects like TV and media, for example, have been, really kind of utilizing TikTok as a platform, as almost a primary platform for marketing and shopping and e-commerce as well. Those are industries that have really nailed it. I think at the moment the competition is still quite small for the events industry, so it's definitely one that I'd recommend. Create some content, get as much as you can out there and start to test and learn, work out what's resonating with your audience, what's performing well, and take it from there. So as I promised, I wanted to share some quick fire takeaways. So hopefully what I've outlined there is that there's a big chance that your audience are on the platform, and they're engaging and they're using it on a monthly basis. And the second thing that I hope I've outlined there is the importance of understanding what it is that your audience are looking for and creating content based on that. So of course you're going to be thinking, well, okay, brilliant, but how do I do that? So there are 3 tools that are free and that you can access immediately after the session and have a play around with to find out what it is that your audience are looking for. So the first being Google Trends, which is in the top right corner there, and you can use this tool to have a look at within different search terms and different target audiences what the search volume is, so what people are searching for in the past 24 hours, in the past 6 months, and that can start to inform your approach going forwards, and that's kind of across the board. Obviously here we're talking about TikTok specifically, but it's always good to have that wider understanding. And then in the bottom right, this is a fairly new launch for TikTok. It's called Keyword Insights, and it works very similarly to Google Trends. But here you can have a look at what the search volume is like and what people are searching for, again, for your target audience. So by finding out what questions people are asking, can then inform what content it is that you should be creating and posting. And then on the left, we've got TikTok's Creative Assistant. So this is a really powerful tool, and it means you can jump in and you can have a conversation with it and ask it questions around, what accounts are searching for, what are some cool examples of extra content I can create, or can you write me a short script to help inform it, all of these bits. So that's a tool that I'd really recommend jumping into and having a play around on. Secondly, most important one is create content. I would argue that quantity probably beats quality at the moment on TikTok. I post as many different bits as you can with different production values, whatever you've got available, using free tools like Canva, or just even not editing stuff, just filming it on a phone and posting it and see what reaction it gets. Using different trending sounds and seeing what other people are posting and what's working well there. Within the TikTok app itself, it can be very powerful for editing content and putting videos and captions and music and all of those bits together. And then finally, as I mentioned, post. So post as many bits as you possibly can. It's great to make the copy super descriptive. So really describe and really answer that question that you've identified people are looking for. Tagging the location, so where the event is happening, where it has happened. Again, that can really help boost performance. Adding all and any relevant keywords, so those can be as hashtags, or making sure that they're included in the post copy itself. And responding to comments, that's really going to help the kind of the health of the page and help that performance also. So I'll leave you with this: create lots, post lots, and learn. I hope in there there's been some tools and some insights that you weren't aware of and that can be useful going forwards. And finally, if you've got any additional questions or you'd like to know more about the platform, then please don't hesitate to give me a shout.